Hello and welcome to another Blender know-how tutorial. And in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about nested for loops and the power that they have, as well as some of the cautions you should be worried about while using them. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So go ahead and click on the scripting tab, and we're just going to be working straight within the script editor here. I'm going to import Blender Python. And now I'm going to use it to select everything and delete it, just so that we don't have a whole bunch of objects being created over and over again every time we run the script. So bpy.ops.object, and then I'm going to just take that and copy it because I'll need it in just 1 second, and do select all, and action equals select. And for this one, I'm going to do delete. Sweet, that's it. If we run that, we can see that everything's gone. Now let's just do our for loop. And if you haven't seen my previous for loop tutorial, not the nested one, just the original for loop, you might want to watch it. If you already have some Python or programming experience, you might be okay. So go ahead and do for I in range of 3. We're just going to treat this, we're going to create just a simple like Rubik's Cube shape, similar to what we did in the Boolean modifier video. If you haven't seen it, check it out as well. It's pretty sweet. But yeah, we're going to do the same kind of shape. So let's just do for I in the range of 3. And enter. You can see that it indented. Note that in nested for loops, it's really easy to get indentation incorrect. Just make sure that your indentation is correct, and it will all be great. Now let's create a cube, bpy.ops.mesh.primitive, and then cube, and then add. And we're going to want to set the location of this as well. If we don't, the issue will be that the cube will just be put in the same spot over and over and over again. So there will be like 3 different cubes in the same spot, and we won't even notice it. It'll look like there's just one cube. So let's just go ahead and do I, 0, 0, and run this. Oh, we have an error. Oh, I already know what it is actually. I needed another parenthesis in there. Now you can see that we have cubes. I don't like it coming this way. For some reason I want to go that way, so let's just do -I. And let's multiply it by 2 because they're overlapped here. And that's just because by default, a cube is created with a width, depth, and height of a default of 2 Blender units. So if we just make the width of this, or the distance that it goes every time, multiplied by 2, it's fine there. I'm actually going to multiply by 2.1, so there's a slight gap in between them. Give it that Rubik's Cube shape. Yeah, so that's how we do that. Now, to do nested for loops. This is the fun. So let's do a for. We would think we could do a for I in a range again, but we can't. Let's just do for j. We have to have a separate variable, or else we're going to be editing the I variable within it. And we don't want to do that, as often our variable, this variable, if we were to change in here, could often skip the first for loop, which is the whole point of it. We don't want to do that. So often this is what we'll do. For the j in range of 3, then we will do that. Now there's an issue here, and I hope that you already see this, but let's run it. Let's just make sure there is an issue. Yeah, so it says see the console for now. You can look at the console, but I already know what the issue is. The issue is it's looking for an indentation right after this, and there isn't one that's appropriate. We need to indent again. Like I said earlier, indentation becomes key. So now if we run it, we still have the same. The only difference is now each one of these has 3 cubes in it. So you can see some of the power of it so far, but why isn't it doing what we thought it would? Well, it's because we haven't used the j variable. Let's use j to go across the y-axis. So for every comma here, so this is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, and this is the z-axis. that's how it's going to operate. So let's run that. You can see we have the same issue as we had with this one. So let's just multiply that by 2.1. Run that. Did I put the multiply? I put it in the wrong spot. So I just take off that. If you did the same thing I did, go ahead and do it. Do 2.1 on the multiplied by j. Sweet. We have that all set up. And the cool thing about it is they are perfect. Like, the distances between all of these are exactly the same. Okay, so let's do our next for loop. I'm just going to name it k. Why not just keep the alphabet trend? And do 3. Right now, make sure we do the indent and run the script. You can see that each one of these now has 3. I'm not going to show with all of them, but just to give you the feeling that there is, all of them have 3. We just need to do k now. And multiply that by 2.1. And we now have our Rubik's Cube shape. This is super cool because we only did 4 lines of code, and we've created 3 times 3, by 3, which is 27 cubes. That's pretty sweet. I hope that you've liked this tutorial and you've gotten some ideas of future things you can create within Blender, as this is kind of the whole purpose of these tutorials. Good luck with creations, and hope to see you again.